Welcome to the UMW FERPA tutorial for students, parents, and legal guardians. You may be asking yourself, what is FERPA? Well, FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974. It's a federal law that governs the disclosure and access of education records maintained by an educational institution. Any educational institution or agency that receives funds under any program administered by the U.S. Secretary of Education must comply with FERPA. It is a requirement for UMW to notify students annually of their FERPA rights. The goal of FERPA is pretty simple: to protect the privacy of education records, establish the right of students to inspect and review their education records, and provide guidelines for the correction of inaccurate and misleading data through informal and formal hearings. All students, regardless of age, that are in attendance at UMW are covered under FERPA. Former students are covered as well. As a current or former UMW student, you have the following rights: to inspect and review your education record, to request to amend your education record, to limit disclosure of directory information, to file a complaint with the Department of Education concerning an alleged failure by UMW to comply with FERPA. Applicants who are denied admission to UMW or who never attended are not covered under FERPA. All records that directly relate to a student and are maintained by an institution are considered education records. These records can be in any format. Education records are not sole possession notes, law enforcement unit records, employment records, medical records, or post-attendance records. Students are entitled to submit to the registrar written requests that identify any education records they wish to inspect. Students have the right to inspect and review these records within 45 days of when the university receives a request for access. Arrangements for access and inspection will be made, and students will be notified. If the records are not maintained by the registrar, the student will be advised of the correct official to whom the request should be addressed. Students also have the right to request an amendment of their education records if there is a belief that they are inaccurate or misleading. When a student turns 18 years old or enters a post-secondary institution at any age, all rights afforded to you as a parent or legal guardian under FERPA transfer to the student, regardless of who is financially responsible for tuition and fees associated with the student's education. Should they choose to do so, students are able to come to the registrar's office to complete and sign a release of information form, which would designate individuals other than themselves to have access to their education records. The best approach is often open and honest communication. Talk with your student first. Often, this is the best way to find out the information you are interested in. UMW will not permit access to or the release of educational records without the consent of the student or eligible parent or legal guardian to anyone other than the following: university officials with legitimate educational interests, officials pursuant to their statutory responsibilities, any party legitimately connected with the student's application for or receipt of financial aid, state and local officials or authorities to which such information is specifically required to be reported or disclosed pursuant to state statute adopted prior to November 1974, accrediting organizations for the purpose of carrying out their accrediting functions, parents of dependent students as defined in Section 152 of the IRS Code of 1954, parties acting under authority of a judicial order or pursuant to any lawfully issued subpoena upon condition that the students are notified of all such orders or subpoenas in advance of the compliance therewith by the educational institution. Appropriate persons in connection with an emergency if the knowledge of such information is necessary to protect the health or safety of a student or other people. It is very important to understand what directory information consists of. At UMW, directory information is considered the following: student's name and university email address, campus mailbox number, class level, previous institutions attended, major fields of study, awards and honors including Dean's List and President's List, degrees conferred including dates, dates of attendance, past and present participation in officially recognized sports and activities, and physical factors such as height and weight of athletes. At any time, a student may submit a request to restricted release of directory information. A restriction on the release of directory information will remain in effect even if the individual is no longer a student, unless the restriction is removed by written request made to the Office of the Registrar. The Withhold Directory Information Request form can be found on the Registrar's Office website, or you can stop by in person to complete one. Here are some helpful tips to be mindful of. Respect the rights and privacy of other students. Never share your NetID and password information. Do not post personal information about students on websites or share personal information via email. Be careful about sharing private information via wireless technology such as cell phones or Wi-Fi. Take caution in the use of social media and never reveal information that compromises privacy. For more information about our FERPA policies, please visit our website at academics.umw.edu/registrar, email us at registrar@umw.edu, or call us at 540-654-1063. You can also follow us on Instagram, find us on YouTube, or follow us on Facebook at UMW Registrar.